This is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. The picture on the screen showed up on my Twitter page a few days ago. It is a picture of the late Kevin Samuels, apparently going up the stairway to heaven toward the pearly gates, but he stops and looks back to say, "And y'all still fat and average." I think the rapper T.I. posted this on Twitter. And I really, it really causes you to think how long and how far this is going to go. So at this point, people are just trying to get attention or just trying to do something to provoke other people, because there's really no need for this. And it's time for this to stop. The man is dead, and whatever his message was his message. So there's no point in somebody else trying to co-opt it or advance it or improve upon it. What I'm finding curious is that these black men in the manosphere, so-called, and the manosphere, the best I can figure, these are black men who are angry. They're angry at society, and they're especially angry at black women. But what I keep hearing them say is that Kevin Samuels gave them a voice, gave black men a voice. Black men didn't have a voice, but now they have a voice. I've been listening to several of them that are in the so-called manosphere, and all they talk about is women, black women, and the men that black women are with, whether they're white or black. That's all they talk about. I don't ever hear anybody talking about the economy. I don't hear anybody talking about the politics of this country. I don't hear anybody talking about education. I don't hear anybody talking about history. All they're talking about is women. So what I'm being led to believe is that Kevin Samuels gave them a voice to talk about women, black women. I find it curious that these manosphere men are saying that they didn't have a voice before Kevin Samuels came along. In our churches, in our black churches, overwhelmingly our preachers are black men. The deacons are men. The trustees are men. The stewards are men. Anybody handling money or making decisions is a man. These men have a voice. Our state representatives are overwhelmingly black men. Our national representatives, black men. We've had a black male president. The 3 senators in the United States Congress are black men. The most famous and high-profile athletes in the United States are black men. Some of the most famous high-profile entertainers in the United States are black men. These men have a voice. And one thing we can say, that every time these men do something who do have a voice, they're the main ones criticizing them and trying to drag them down. I think we can say that for certain. So they say now that they have a voice, and they're speaking very loudly in that voice. But what are they talking about? Their ongoing narrative is that black women need to be held accountable. Now, I don't think it's clear what it is they think black women need to be held accountable for, but what somebody has failed to inform them of is that they don't have the power to hold black women accountable for anything. So lacking the power to hold black women accountable for whatever it is they think black women should be held accountable for, their backup plan seems to be to spend 24/7 on social media berating and humiliating black women. Now, what I find kind of interesting about that is that when I came to YouTube in 2017, they were all talking about the options that they had, and they were all going to get them some white women. And I'm wondering, what happened to that? What happened to that? Because it seems like they've circled back on black women. What they discovered was that what they can get in a white woman is worse than what they had in a black woman. That's what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. But the thing about it is that they don't have the ability to hold either white or black women accountable for anything. Accountability has to be a part of a cooperative relationship between a man and a woman. In the country that we live in, where there are all kinds of laws and regulations to protect people, you don't get to just force somebody into accountability or submission. What binds a couple together is commitment. Commitment to their relationship, to their vows, to their God, to their family, and their community. It's their commitment that makes a relationship work. And this negative energy that they're sending out, all of this negative language doesn't lead anywhere good. It usually comes back on you in a negative way. So I would just be careful about some of this stuff these men are saying, because the man that shot up the subway in New York had some of this menosphere literature in his possession. So when the next crime bill comes down, and it's going to be another crime bill, and that bill is going to be more comprehensive, it's going to be broader, and it's going to include everybody, white folks, Asians, black folk, Hispanics, men, women, and they're going to include police reports and all of this stalking and all of this hate speech. All of that stuff is going to be included in the next crime bill. So I would just be careful about some of this languaging that's going on, because it's very dangerous. So back to the voice. What is it that they want to say? What is it that they want the world, including black women, to know? This is the $64,000 question. I heard a YouTuber, a big YouTuber, say the other day that black men were oppressed. They are oppressed by white people and by black women. And that just blew my mind. Black women are oppressing black men now? I'm just saying, this stuff just gets crazier and crazier to me. I want to know what it is that black men want to say. Because so far, all they're doing is talking about women. And this is just a question for the followers of Kevin Samuels and other black men in the so-called manosphere who say they didn't have a voice before Kevin Samuels came along. They didn't have a voice, now they have a voice. And what are they talking about? Something substantive needs to come from that collective voice at some point. Because I think the legacy for Kevin Samuels, if they respected him and they really want to honor his legacy, they would go back and look at some of the videos that he did before he started bashing black women 2 years ago. They would go back and listen to the ones where he was actually trying to help them. I think he just gave up. And so he decided, maybe he just decided I can be more successful if I go down this path. But he knew that that wasn't the best path, because that's not what he started out doing. And that might be really smart for black men to go back and look at his videos and his philosophy and see what it was he really stood for, because what's going on now is very negative. And trying to shame these women into caring about the fact that he has passed, I think it's falling on deaf ears, because I haven't seen anybody say they were sorry about it. What I see is doubling down. So the voice that he gave them was only effective in one direction. And I would just say to black women, everybody is not called to prophesy. And you shouldn't just let anybody speak over your life, especially if you were hurt by what he was saying and felt diminished by his message. Do like black women used to do back in the day. Just tell somebody, start telling you something about yourself. Just say, I ain't studying you. I'm going to let Jesus tell me what to do. I'm going to tell it to Jesus. And mean that, because these people can really do harm to you, to your spirit and to your psyche. Next time somebody like Kevin Samuels comes up and they are now jockeying for a position, I can see that on YouTube. Who's going to be the next Kevin Samuels? Somebody was actively campaigning for his supporters the other night. So somebody wants that job. But this is the time for black women to say, I'm going to be better than this. Because taking the high road with some people doesn't work, but ignoring them does. If you ignore that person, just not let that person get in your head, and definitely not let them get in your heart, because now you know these people don't mean you any good. So the best thing to do is to tune them out, because there is a group of black women who's willing to do battle with them, because some of them have their swords drawn and they are ready to fight. But I think that for your own peace, and you do have to protect your own peace, leave these men alone, let them go on about their way, because there is a such thing as the seeds you plant will come up around you. Finally, For someone to be a therapist or a counselor or any kind of relationship expert, that person needs to go through training. Now, some women probably were just doing it to get attention or maybe for the clout. But other women were very hurt by what Kevin Samuels was saying. They really were. And I'm still trying to find out what the voice is and what the voice was that he gave black men and how they're using it. And if anybody knows what they're doing with their voice, please let me know. Other than talking about women, please let me know. I would love to know. And tearing them down in the name of speaking the truth. I'm telling the truth. That's not even a good strategy. And if you're really trying to help somebody, if you go through the training, you don't tell people their truth. You let people discover their own truth. They know their truth better than anybody. So your job is to try to help them to find their own truth and to find their own solutions. Not for you to sit there and telling them what's wrong with them and all that. That is not even professional. That is armchair psychology. And people really should be careful about whom they listen to. Everybody is not called to prophesy. And you should not let just anybody speak over you and on your life. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the video. And as always, have a great day.